A very good morning to all of you, my dear students. This is Shafiq Ahmed, and you're all welcome to your favorite YouTube channel, Let's Learn Together. As we all know that we have started the chapter, The Rise of the Nationalism in Europe, and this is the 7th video tutorial which will be uploaded soon. So we have discussed about the Greek revolutions, or you can say the Greek War of Independence in our previous tutorial. And what you have to remember from here that Greece was under Ottoman Empire since 15th century, and they finally got independence by signing the Treaty of Constantinople in the month of February 1832. The great powers, Britain, France, and Russia, they all participated to make Greece an independent nation. So the Ottoman Empire was forced to leave, to release Greece and make it as an independent nation. So that we have all discussed in our previous class, my dear students. So now we are going to discuss about three most important topics of this chapter, which is really going to be very important in 2021 board exam. That's I am telling you again. So let us start our today's topic. And our today's topic is about from this July and Greek revolutions. We are going to discuss about three topics from this July and Greek revolution. And the topics are romanticism, hunger hardship, and popular revolt. And the last one, the revolutions of the liberals. We are going to discuss about this. So let us begin with the romanticism. That is first topic of today's tutorial, that is romanticism. Now the romanticism, imagination and national feeling, means the people are now feeling or imagining about their nation and feeling about their nation. Let us see how they really feel. The development of nationalism did not only come through wars and territorial expansion. Means nationalism, the sense of nationalism, yes, it rise up when your country wins a particular war, or when your own country captures others countries territories, then yes, the nationalism rise. That is quite true. But let me tell you that it is not only the only source of rising the sense of nationalism among people. There are many other sources which can help you to raise the feeling of, to raise the sense of nationalism among the people of your country. So not only wars and territorial expansion can only raise the nationalism of feeling. Yes, they can, of course, they used to raise, but there are few other things also which can also help you to raise the sense of nationalism among the people of your country. And that the philosophers of Europe have done, they try to raise the sense of nationalism among the people through their emotion. Through the emotion means by touching the emotion of their culture, by touching, by using the culture of the people. Suppose if you are a Bihari, that you are living in a Bihar, and if Bihari songs will be played in front of you, then what you will do, you will just be attracted more than other songs. Suppose if you, I want to give you some message about the nation, and I want to give you in the form of a song, so then what I will do, I will try to include and sing it like a Bihari song. Or if you are in Delhi, then the people of Delhi, whatever they used to like their culture, then I would like to include and use the culture of that particular area to raise the sense of nationalism among the people. So that is the thing that philosophers of that time started doing. What they started, they tried to raise the sense of nationalism among people by touching their emotion. And how they were touching their emotion, they were touching the emotion with the help of their culture only. That is romanticism, my dear, over here. I'm not talking about any romance between a couple. I am talking about the romance between a citizen and his or her nation. That is I am talking about over here. Yes, you can fall in love, you can fall in romance with your nation also, not only with other one or with your couple. सो कल्चर दैट इज संस्कृति या तहजीब भी बोलते हैं हिंदी में, उर्दू में तहजीब बोलते हैं और हिंदी में आप कह सकते हैं संस्कृति भी बोलते हैं. सो कल्चर means संस्कृति और तहजीब also played, culture also played an important role in creating the idea of the nation, such as people started using art and poetry. Means the artists started painting different type of images so that they can raise the feeling of nationalism among the people. Art as well as poets started writing their poetries, and even the poets and the story writers, they started writing stories, and musicians, they started playing music of that local music, local stories, local poetries and arts, that the people, the philosophers and these people, artists, poem writers, and those who write poems and story writers, musicians, they all started doing something for the nation. They tried to help and express, and yeah, they try to shape the nationalist family feelings among the people by using their skills. So that is the culture I'm talking about over here. So if someone asks you about the definition of romanticism, then you should please, yeah, you should go on and tell that romanticism is a cultural movement which is used to develop a particular form of nationalist sentiment. That is, the sentiment means the sense of nationalism is just developed by using the cultural movement of that particular area. That is romanticism, my dear students. So that people can feel love and proud. They can feel love and proud towards their culture and country both at the same time. Means what is going on over here, that people are using, means the philosophers or the nationalist people are using the culture to raise the feeling of love and proud of their nation as well as culture. That is romanticism, my dear students. It is a cultural movement which is used to develop a form of nationalist sentiment. That is, you can write also to develop a particular sense of nationalism among the people. So using the culture, that is known as romanticism. And why they are using culture? To raise the feeling of love and proud towards the country. So romantic artists and poets, they develop paintings. Let me show you one of the paintings developed by this romantic artist. Would you like to see, my dear students? Yeah, okay. I'm showing you. You can see over here. I'm just zooming in. You can see over here that the romantic artists are using, and they are trying. What are they trying to say over here in this image? Let me show you. This is the image from the massacre at the trials Eugen Delacroix 1824. That is it is one of the scene that has been painted by the artist named as Delacroix, the French painter. He was a French painter, Delacroix, and he was the most important French romantic painter. And what he tried over here, you can see over here in the last sentences, he tried to appeal to the emotion of the spectators. Means we are the spectators over here. We are seeing this particular image or the painting. You can see over here. So that particular painter, French painter Delacroix over here, is trying to appeal to the emotions of the spectators, and he tried to create sympathy for the Greek, that we have just learned, that Greek war of independence that was going on. So the French painter over here painted this image, and the size of the image is also written over here, where 20,000 Greeks were said to have been killed. 20,000 Greeks people, the Greek were killed, including women, including children. And who killed them? The Turks. The Turks people killed these 20,000 Greek people. And that is why the painter Delacroix painted this image to create sympathy, to appeal for the sympathy and the mercy of the other people or of the other spectators, so that they can feel mercy and sympathy for the Greek people, and they should try to help the Greek people in time of their need. That is the thinking, or that is the real work from the artist you can see over here. So we should praise such an artist, that he is something doing for the other people, for the nation. Romantic artists and poets, they develop paintings and poems that we have already seen. One painting which focused on emotion. पेंटिंग भी ऐसे बनाते थे जो लोगों के इमोशन को टच कर जाए. Observation, जो लोग ऑब्जर्व करे. And as well as it quite to be spiritual or supernatural feelings, और लोगों के अंदर में कुछ supernatural feelings भी आ सके. लोग सोचें कि हम मदद कर सकते हैं, we can help others. So the German philosopher Johann Gottfried Herder claimed that true German culture was to be discovered. Who claimed? Johann Gottfried Herder. And who was he? He was a philosopher from Germany. And what he said, that true German culture can only be discovered, what he tried to say, that he claimed that true German culture was to be discovered among the common people. Means the common people should try to feel about the true German people. Means they try to be very faithful towards their nation. He said, Johann Gottfried Herder, that the German people should try to be faithful with their nation. And this particular statement, that about true German culture was to be discovered among the common people, it was published in a daily newspaper, and the name of the newspaper was Das Volk. And I can show you one of the image also of the Das Volk. I got the cutting from somewhere in the internet. So let me show you, my dear students, over there about the Das Volk newspaper. You can see over here. I'm just zooming it down. You can see cover of Das Volk 15th July 1945 edition. And it was type of daily. It means daily newspaper. It is it. And editor-in-chief was Ocho Mayer. That was one of the thing that I got it from internet about Das Volk, that newspaper. So in that newspaper, John Gottfried Herder declared that true German culture to be discovered among the people. According to Johann Gottfried Herder, the true spirit of the nation can only be discovered, and should be discovered among the common people through folk songs, means that local song of that area, folk poetry, and those folk dances. Means he is trying to say that we should use the common culture of that particular country or that particular area for what? To raise the true spirit of the nation. And the true spirit of the nation can only be raised, he's saying that it can be raised through folk songs, folk poetry, and folk dances. So he's saying that we should use the culture to raise the feeling of nationalism among the people. So that is romanticism. That is, you are in romance with your nation. Different forms of folk culture were collected and recorded, as it was essential for the project of nation building. Means that is the great project for what? Nation building. Means you are just trying to unite the people and make the people faithful towards their nation. And that was one of the steps, or can say that was one of the method to collect folk culture among of all the people, of all the stories about the local culture and dances of that particular area. And they tried to, these philosophers, they tried to, the nationalist people also, they tried to collect and record it and use it to raise the nationalist feeling among the people. And you can see they developed what? Folklore. अब folklore क्या होता है? So simple, my dear student. Folklore क्या होता है? The traditional belief, यानी जो बिलीफ आप सदियों से मानते चले आ रहे हैं कि भगवान जी के पूजा करना चाहिए और 5 वक्त नमाज पढ़ना चाहिए. दिस आर द ट्रेडिशनल बिलीफ. रिलीजियस भी हो सकता है और वो जो है लोकल बिलीफ्स भी हो सकता है. और ट्रेडिशनल बिलीफ में और भी है, आप जानते हैं कि हम लोग अपने माता पिता के पैर छूकर उनको प्रणाम करते हैं, आशीर्वाद लेते हैं. दिस आर द ट्रेडिशनल बिलीफ्स, है ना, ट्रेडिशनली जो चला आ रहा है. The custom, the traditional customs and stories of a community. Customs meaning रीति रिवाज और communities के stories जो generation से एक generation से दूसरे generation तक pass होता है, that pass through the generation by word of mouth. मतलब जुबानी, कोई लिखित में नहीं होता है, not anything in writing, है ना. आपके दादाजी जो है आपके पिताजी को बताया होंगे कुछ स्टोरीज के बारे में, अपने कम्युनिटीज के बारे में, अपने ट्रेडिशनल के बारे में, ट्रेडिशंस के बारे में, रीति रिवाज के बारे में, एंड योर ग्रैंडफादर माइट हैव पास्ड इट to your father by simply telling in the form of a story or in the form of song, or he can use in the form of dances also. So the message of traditional beliefs and customs are passing through mouth to mouth. That is, your grandfather has passed to you, to your father, and your father has passed to you, and you will pass it to your son, and your son will pass to his son and daughters. That is the thing, that is the folklore that we are passing through to carry the modern nationalist message to large audiences, है ना, who were mostly illiterate. So at that particular time in Europe, most of them were mostly illiterate. So that's why they were using this word of mouth. Means nowadays we can use a lot of writings also, because a lot of man over here and even in Europe are literate, most of them. So nowadays it is okay. But at that time, 80s, and they doing 80s and 19th century, so things were quite different. So that's why, that is only the reason that they used to pass it through messages or through mouth or through stories. So their effort was to create what means the effort of the philosophers and the nationalist people, or the artists or the poets. What was their effort? They were effort to create a sense of shared collective heritage, that is परंपरा. एक परंपरा बनाने के लिए, एक सेंस बनाने के लिए परंपरा कि ये हमारा परंपरा है, ये हमारा कल्चर है, that is their culture, to make it as the basis of the nation. That is the thing, that the effort that they have tried. So that was all about romanticism. Now our next topic is about one of the event that occurred in the 18th century in Europe, and that is quite also important, because language, we are going to talk about the language over here. So language can also be used to develop nationalist sentiments among the people. Language, जैसे कि आप कहेंगे कि हिंदी हमारा भाषा है ना, मदर टंग है, इसको हम प्रोटेक्ट करेंगे, इसको किसी को हटाने नहीं देंगे, यूनिवर्सिटी से नहीं हटाने देंगे, स्कूल से नहीं हटेगा ये, यानी कि हिंदी हमको पढ़ना है और पढ़ाना है. That is the thing. It can means language can also be used to create the feeling of nationalism among the people, and that one of the thing happened in Europe at that particular time. You can see the great powers, Russia, Prussia, Austria. We all know that they partitioned Poland. रशिया, प्रूशिया, ऑस्ट्रिया ने मिलकर क्या किया था? पोलैंड को पार्टीशन कर दिया, अलग अलग कर दिया था. एंड रशिया ऑक्युपाइड पोलैंड, एंड आफ्टर ऑक्युपाइंग पोलैंड द पोलिश लैंग्वेज वाज फर्स्ट आउट ऑफ स्कूल्स एंड ऑफिसेस. अब देख रहे हैं, रशिया ने पोलैंड पर कब्जा किया, और उसने उसके बाद क्या करते हैं, वो पोलिश लैंग्वेज, यानी द लैंग्वेज ऑफ द पोलिश पीपल, है ना, द लैंग्वेज ऑफ द पोलैंड, दे व्हाट दे डिड, द रशियन पीपल, दे फोर्स्ड इट आउट ऑफ स्कूल्स एंड ऑफिसेस. यानी स्कूल में पढ़ाना बंद, ऑफिस में यूज करना बंद कर दिया उन्होंने पोलिश लैंग्वेज को. एंड दे स्टार्टेड प्रोमोटिंग व्हाट, देयर लैंग्वेज, रशियन लैंग्वेज एवरीवेयर. यानी ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज, स्कूल्स में भी लैंग्वेज जो होगा वो रशिया होगा, रशियन लैंग्वेज होगा. दे स्टार्टेड प्रोमोटिंग देयर लैंग्वेज. अब पोलिश पीपल जो है परेशान है यहाँ पर. ये कब की बात है? 1831, an armed rebellion against Russian rule took place, which was ultimately crushed as Russia was too powerful at the time. तो वहां के लोगों ने, पोलैंड के लोगों ने कोशिश भी किया, है ना, they tried with their armed rebellion, यानी कि आर्म्ड के साथ, हथियार के साथ उन्होंने रिवॉल्ट किया रशियन गवर्नमेंट के खिलाफ, क्योंकि रशिया ने कब्जा कर लिया है पोलैंड पर. लेकिन क्योंकि रशिया बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत पावरफुल है, बहुत पावरफुल है वो, so that was the thing that they crushed this particular revolution from the Poland people. और बहुत बुरी तरीके से उन्हें मारा भी गया और सजा भी दिया गया. Many members of the clergy, यानी कि क्लर्जी ग्रुप के बहुत सारे लोगों को, जैसे कि प्रीस्ट है, बिशप है ना, जो चर्च में रहते हैं इन पोलैंड, दे बिगैन टू यूज लैंग्वेज एज वेपन ऑफ नेशनल रेजिस्टेंस. तो बहुत सारे मेंबर्स क्लर्जी ग्रुप के, जो ये प्रीस्ट है, ये बिशप है, ये इन लोगों ने क्या किया, लैंग्वेज को इस्तेमाल किया. दे स्टार्टेड यूजिंग द लैंग्वेज एज ए वेपन, हथियार की तरह इस्तेमाल करना शुरू किया, ताकि लोगों के बीच में क्या आ जाए फीलिंग्स कि हम लोग पोलिश लैंग्वेज के लिए कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, ये हमारा लैंग्वेज है. So this priest and bishop tried a lot to use language as the weapon to raise the feeling of what this over here you can see, to raise the feeling of nationalist sentiments. Polish language was used for church gatherings है ना, वो लोग Polish language को इस्तेमाल करते थे पहले से भी, and they started using it in spite of warning from the Russian government. Russian government ने warn भी किया था कि Polish language का कोई इस्तेमाल नहीं होगा, चर्च वगैरह में भी Polish language का इस्तेमाल नहीं किया जाएगा. Everywhere they will use what? Russian language. So in spite of that warning, these priests and bishop, they continued preaching the people in the Polish language and all giving all religious instruction in Polish language only. तो अब क्या होता है, रशियन गवर्नमेंट क्या करते हैं फिर, क्योंकि ये प्रीस्ट और बिशॉप ने तो बात नहीं सुना उनका. सो अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ प्रीस्ट एंड बिशॉप्स वर पुट इन जेल. तो रशियन गवर्नमेंट का ये एक्शन है. उन्होंने क्या किया, बहुत सारे प्रीस्ट और बिशॉप्स को पकड़कर जेल में डाल दिया. दे वर पुट इन जेल और many of them were sent to Siberia. और बहुत सारे लोगों को, बहुत सारे प्रीस्ट और बिशॉप्स को साइबेरिया भेज दिया. इन रशिया में एक जगह है साइबेरिया, जहाँ का टेम्परेचर -71 डिग्री सेल्सियस रहता है. So it is a very hard punishment. A common man cannot settle in a place where there is a temperature of -71 degree. So the Russian authorities क्या करते थे, ऐसे punishment देते थे. जो भी refuse कर दें, है ना, if any of the priest or bishop will refuse to preach in Russian language, then they will be sent to Siberia or they will be put behind the bars that is inside a jail. तो priest और bishops ने भी बहुत कुर्बानी दिया है वहाँ पर Polish language को promote करने के लिए, but they were received a lot of punishment also. So the use of Polish language came to be seen as a symbol of what? Struggle against the Russian dominance. That is one of the thing that the people of Poland and the priest and the bishop of Poland use Polish language to what? To see it, to raise the feeling of nationalism among the people against the Russian government, against Russian dominance. So that is all from this particular event at the end of the 17th century about the event. Now we are going to move to our next topic, that is hunger, hardship, and popular revolt. Many times the question is to come in your board exam, and the question is there on the top. You can see my students explain the situation of great economic hardship in Europe during 1830s. क्वेश्चन ये पूछा जाता है कि ग्रेट इकोनॉमिक हार्डशिप के सिचुएशन को आप एक्सप्लेन करें जो यूरोप में 1830s में हो रहा था. सो दैट हाउ यू कैन एक्सप्लेन, यू कैन स्टार्ट फ्रॉम हियर. द 1830s वर इयर्स ऑफ ग्रेट इकोनॉमिक हार्डशिप इन यूरोप. 1830s अच्छा नहीं रहा यूरोप के लिए, इकोनॉमिकली बहुत उनको परेशानी हो रहा था. क्यों हो रहा था परेशानी? Why there was such a situation? Number one reason was the increase in the population. The first half of the 19th century saw an enormous increase in population all over Europe. 19th century का first half जो है वो population जो है बहुत बढ़ रहा था यूरोप में. That is one of the reason for this economic hardship. क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग अगर जन्म ले रहे हैं, पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रहा है, तो उसके साथ उनको क्या चाहिए? रोजगार चाहिए. दे वांट वर्क आल्सो, और वर्क नहीं मिलेगा तो इकोनॉमिकली वो वीक हो जाएंगे. तो दैट इज द इंक्रीज इन पॉपुलेशन वाज वन ऑफ द मेन कॉज ऑफ दिस इकोनॉमिक हार्डशिप इन यूरोप ड्यूरिंग 1830s. नेक्स्ट रीजन वाज अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. बहुत जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, if the population will increase, then the government will have to provide employment also. So there was no employment for many of the such job seekers, and that is also one of the reason for this economic hardship. लोग तो हैं लेकिन काम नहीं है उनके पास. Next reason is what? Migration for jobs. Population from rural areas, they migrated to the cities. है ना, जो गांव जो है, village side है, जो लोग रहते हैं, they were just coming to the cities in search of job to live in this overcrowded slums. और वो slums area बना लेते थे cities में आकर jobs के लिए. That is also one of the reason. Tough competition also one of the reason. क्योंकि क्या हो रहा था यूरोप में उस टाइम? Small producer in towns, they were facing a tough competition from the imports of cheap machine made goods from England. cheap machine made goods इंग्लैंड से जो है यूरोप के और बहुत सारे कंट्रीज में पहुंच रहा था. तो वहाँ के स्मॉल प्रोड्यूसर्स जो थे वो they were not able to just compete with those cheap machine made products. Machine made products होंगे तो less labor लगता है, less time लगता है, so the products will be little cheaper than the manual made products. जो हाथों से बनाया जाएगा और जो मशीन से बनाया जाएगा, दोनों की चीजों में दाम का बहुत डिफरेंस हो जाता है. And the machine made goods are cheaper if we compare it with the manual products. So small producers were also facing difficulties because in England industrialization was more advanced than on this continent. England में industrialization बहुत ज़्यादा advanced था जबकि other parts of Europe में नहीं थे. This was especially in textile production. खास करके जहाँ पर problem हो रहा था वो था textile production, which was carried out mainly in homes or small workshops and was only partly mechanized. और क्या था ना कि टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्रीज के जो काम थे, टेक्सटाइल प्रोडक्शन, ये घरों में हुआ करते थे यूरोप की बहुत सारी कंट्रीज में. अब क्योंकि वो मशीन उनके पास नहीं था, ओनली दे वर पार्टली मैकेनाइज्ड, सो दे वर नॉट एबल टू फेस द कंपटीशन और स्टे इन द कंपटीशन विद इंग्लैंड बिकॉज दे वर इंपोर्टिंग, है ना, दे वर इंपोर्टिंग अ चीप मशीन मेड गुड्स फ्रॉम अदर कंट्रीज आल्सो. However, let us see, feudal dues also is one of the reasons. Peasants struggle under the burden of feudal dues as well as duties. Peasants जो हैं, laborers जो हैं, farmers जो हैं, उनको feudal dues भी देना पड़ रहा था on the other hand. So they were just struggling to pay it, and they were struggling to pay or under the burden. They were just lying down and getting buried under the burden of feudal dues and duties. That is also one of the reason, my dear students, for this economic hardship during 1830s. And one of the most important one, सब क्यों ये सबसे ज्यादा important है, क्योंकि ये खाने से जुड़ा हुआ बात है. Rise in price, the rise of food prices or year of bad harvest led to widespread pauperism. That is the state of extreme poverty in the town as well as throughout the country also. क्योंकि जब भी एक साल खराब हो जाए, जहाँ पर हार्वेस्टिंग जो है यानी कि फसल बर्बाद हो जाता है, बैड हार्वेस्ट होता है, कम होता है, तो उस साल तो और क्या होता है, पूरे यूरोप में पॉपुलिज्म फैल जाता है. दैट इज पॉपुलिज्म. व्हाट इज पॉपुलिज्म? दैट इट इज अ स्टेट ऑफ एक्सट्रीम पॉवर्टी, यानी लोग बहुत ज्यादा गरीब हो जाते हैं, है ना, और वो टाउन और कंट्रीज सभी जगह लोग जो है उसको परेशानी को स्ट्रगल करते हैं. दे स्ट्रगल टू फाइट बैक बिकॉज ऑफ दिस राइज ऑफ फूड प्राइसेस. क्योंकि क्या होगा, प्रोडक्शन विल बी लेस बिकॉज ऑफ द बैड हार्वेस्ट. And if we all know, if the demand is more and the production is less, then the prices will always rise high and high and highest. It will reach highest. So the people who are poor, who cannot afford to buy such products or food at higher prices, what they will have to do, they can't do anything. They will have to remain in the extreme poverty condition, and that is known as pauperism. लोग खरीद नहीं पाएंगे क्योंकि एक साल अगर फसल बर्बाद होता है तो डिमांड तो बढ़ते ही जाता है, लेकिन अगर वो क्वांटिटी ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स नहीं रहेगा, फूड नहीं रहेंगे, तो प्राइस तो हाई हो जाएगा. दैट इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रीजन व्हाई द पीपल वर जस्ट स्ट्रगलिंग विद दिस इकोनॉमिक हार्डशिप इन यूरोप ड्यूरिंग 1830s, माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स. रिएक्शन ऑफ द पीपल, लोगों ने क्या किया, क्या रिएक्ट किया, कैसे रिएक्ट किया. द ईयर 1848 वाज सच वन ईयर वेयर फूड शॉर्टेज एंड वाइड स्प्रेड अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट वाज गोइंग ऑन थ्रू आउट द कंट्री. तो लोगों ने क्या किया, पेरिस में आ गए. दे ब्रॉट द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ पेरिस आउट ऑन द रोड्स. लोग जो है सड़कों पे आ गए, क्योंकि हमेशा ये होता है कि जब भी गवर्नमेंट अगर कुछ नहीं कर पाता है, संभाल नहीं पाता है अपने कंट्रीज को, तो वहाँ के लोगों को जरूरी है कि वो रास्ते पे आ जाते हैं, लड़ना शुरू कर देते हैं, स्ट्रगल करना शुरू कर सकते हैं. यू कैन सी दिस इज वन ऑफ द सीन माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स. पीसेंट सरप्राइजिंग, है ना, लेबर्स, फार्मर्स, सब लोग जो है अपराइज करते हैं, यानी कि अटैक करते हैं. दे केम ऑन द स्ट्रीट्स एंड दे वर जस्ट आस्किंग द गवर्नमेंट टू जस्ट हैंडल द सिचुएशन. लेकिन होता क्या है, बैरिकेड्स, वॉल्स वर इरेक्टेड, है ना, लोगों ने वॉल्स बना दिया, बैरिकेड बना दिया, रोड को घेर दिया, पूरे कंट्रीज को घेरना शुरू किया है. एंड लुइस फिलिपी, दैट वी हैव लर्न दैट ही वाज मेड द हेड ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, वाज फोर्स्ड टू फ्ली. और उनको जबरदस्ती क्या है, भागना पड़ा. ही वाज फोर्स्ड टू फ्ली. अगर वो लुइस फिलिपी जो है हेड ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो थे, वो अगर रह जाते तो हो सकता है ही माइट बी किल्ड आल्सो, ही माइट बी एग्जीक्यूटेड. So people just erected the wall so that no one can enter their country. Some changes after the flee of Louis Philippi. लुइस फिलिपी के जाने के बाद क्या होता है कंट्री में, यानी अब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के हेड नहीं रहे, मीन्स अब कोई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन भी नहीं रहा, अब लोगों के हाथ में गवर्नमेंट है। नाउ द गवर्नमेंट आर देयर टू रूल देमसेल्व्स। अब क्या करते हैं लोग, लेट अस सी। नेशनल असेंबली डिक्लेयर्ड एज रिपब्लिक। अब क्या हो गया, नेशनल असेंबली को डिक्लेयर कर दिया गया, नाउ इट इज द रिपब्लिक, नाउ इट इज द गवर्नमेंट बाय द पब्लिक। अब जो है कोई किसी पर रूल नहीं कर सकता, कोई नहीं कह सकता दैट आई एम द किंग, आई एम द हेड ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। सो दैट वाज द फर्स्ट स्टेप taken by the people over there. They granted right to vote to all adult males above 21। और उन्होंने क्या किया, वोटिंग का राइट्स जो है 21 इयर्स अबव जितने भी अडल्ट मेल्स थे, नॉट फीमेल्स, सारे मेल्स को राइट दे दिया वोट करने का। They guaranteed the right to work, means everyone will get work. That was guaranteed in the after the flee of Louis Philippe in the country throughout Europe. And national workshops were also set up to provide employment. तो नेशनल वर्कशॉप्स भी बनाया गया है ना, कि नेशन को ग्रो करने के लिए नेशन ने अपना काम देना शुरू किया लोगों को, ताकि लोगों को काम दिया जा सके। नेशनल वर्कशॉप जैसे कि रेलवेज बनाना, रेलवे के लाइंस को बिछाना, सड़कों को बनाना, कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ रोड्स, रेलवेज, ब्रिजेस, ये सब शुरू किया गया सो दैट पीपल कैन गेट एम्प्लॉयमेंट। तो ये भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि व्हाट वर द चेंजेस दैट टुक प्लेस आफ्टर द फ्ली ऑफ लुइस फिलिपी। So you will have to write in this particular 4 points, my dear students. So I think that is all from this class. We will learn about the revolt of the weavers in our next tutorial. That's all. Thank you. Stay at home and stay safe, my dear students. And if you are new to this channel, then please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon also. And please do not forget to comment and share it with your friends who are in need of these lessons. Please share with them. Thanks all. Bye bye. Take care.